Hey, what is up, YouTube? Andrew Rooney here. Another commonly asked question I get as a drum teacher. Should I do drum exams? That depends. Do you want to do drum exams? Or if you're a parent of a young student, do you want your child to do drum exams? I'm pretty neutral on this, to be honest. I think if you want to do drum exams, we're best off doing drum exams. Am I going to suggest you do a drum exam? No. And I'll get into the pros and cons of this as we go through this video. So there seems to be a little bit of a confusion amongst students and parents, and they sort of get this around the wrong way of progressing through levels or grades on the drums as, I guess it is progress, but they get that confused with their place within drumming or their potential career within drumming and how that's going to relate to actually making money as a professional drummer or just, working their way up into a good band at school. And in my experience, there's no real connection between these things. So you could be a grade 8, whatever that means, a grade 8 drummer. In the real world, that doesn't mean anything. At a gig, can you play? Yo, blues. Are you going to play a blues or are you going to freeze? These things, it's very different to the exam approach of take these couple of pieces of music, work on them, sometimes for months, sometimes for a whole year, work on 3 or 4 pieces, and then play them at the end of the year in front of a table of judges. I don't really know what that relates to. There were experiences like that at university, although it wasn't ever that strict. Well, not in the jazz world, maybe perhaps in the classical world there is. Is that an indication? Is grade 8 drum exam excellence, is that an indication that you're going to be able to jump into a professional gig or a professional working drummer situation? No, not necessarily. The other thing, I think my real pet peeve here, and possibly the biggest thing that stops me from suggesting this exam route to students, is having in the past students who have progressed through the levels, gone up those stairs, they've gone up to like grade 5, 6, 7, where the music's it's actually getting pretty tricky from what I've seen. It's a challenging read. It's a challenging playthrough. You're going to be getting faster stuff, trickier stuff, odd time signature, all that kind of thing. And I feel like the focus often gets put on passing the exam as opposed to playing it well or playing well in general. The ability to execute a couple of pieces like a monkey at a assessment is not really relevant to being a good drummer in general in a working situation. There's often very little sight reading in these tests. That's a really useful skill in the working drummer world, or not having any music at all. These are things that actually got thrown on me when I did my cruise ship audition. There was a bit of everything. Now, I felt like that was a thorough audition because they would throw things at you with no warning and get you to sight read it, so they know you're sight reading. Then they would send you a little bit beforehand a couple of songs, and you have to memorize them and get all the hits and the structure. That is useful stuff. Pre-planning, pre-loading a couple of songs for an assessment way off in the future that I could prepare months in advance. How does that really relate to a paid gigging situation, a working gig situation? I'm not too sure on that. I'm not too sure on the benefits of it. And just being able to play well in general. I feel like in today's society, there's an over-reliance on hitting the mark, hitting that grade. Great, you passed it. Now, you know what happens now? We go on to an even more difficult thing. And hold on, can you really play that? I've had students, for example, pass relatively difficult grades playing shuffles or a jazz piece or a Latin groove, and they might get an excellence in the performance. And don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of them, and I'm really happy for them. And they are so happy, the family's so happy that they got this amazing grade. And it was in this different style, and then that's gone, that's done. Now we move on to the next thing. And in my opinion, could I get you to play a Latin groove, a jazz groove, a shuffle at my gig? No. So what are we passing exactly? Is this just a money thing? I don't want to throw any shade at anyone doing exams or any company that promotes exams. I really don't. I think it's really valuable. It's actually very motivating for a lot of students and parents to see these grades getting done and achieved. Can you actually play? You know, passing that, you learned that shuffle. Yes, I think your shuffles would have gotten better from working on that exam piece, the shuffle exam piece. But does that mean you can play a shuffle in any given situation at any given tempo? No, of course it doesn't. There are many pros also to exams, and I'm not blind to those. And I do exam preparation with plenty of students who come in who want to do exams. And you know, the big pro is that they want to do exams. So that's what's got them fired up. That's what motivates them. Get that certificate, work through those gradings. They feel like they're progressing. Fantastic. And have I got students who got really good from that approach? Yeah, I do actually. But the ultimate test for me as a professional player, as a full-time teacher, can you get up and cover me at my gig? Can you cover me for my teaching if I'm not here? Are you able to answer all those questions? Can you help a student who's brought in a song that they want to learn? And at the gig, can you just jump in and make everything feel great? And we've got a full dance floor, and more or less the band doesn't notice that there's even a different drummer there. It's just business as usual. We've got someone who knows what they're doing on the drums, and it feels great, and it's a great night. That to me is what it's all about. And that's the real exam. That's the real world exam side of drumming and a career. Remember, everybody teaches. All professional drummers teach. There's a great saying that often got thrown around that, you know, we heard way too much, that, those who can't do teach. Really, those who can't do teach. So Benny Greb can't do, Lionel Lewis can't do, Dennis Chambers can't do, on and on and on. Every drummer teaches. Every professional drummer teaches, educates at some level. So don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in that whole status game. I've probably gone back and forth on exams and what I think of them within this video a few times, but it's a complicated question. If it motivates you and it's going to get you on the drums and it's going to get you practicing, do it. I'm not going to push it with students, but I'm happy to teach it, and it's actually really fun, and there's some great resources out there. So I'm not throwing any shade at it. But remember the ultimate question: can you play? Can we put Billie Jean on in your cans, hit record, and you play a great rock beat one for 4 minutes? can we put on Tennessee whiskey? And you play a great 12/8 for 3 minutes. And could you do that on a dime when needed at the gig? Can you count those songs in? Are you in control enough of your body and your brain to know that when you play live, there's a little bit of adrenaline, and if you're in a new environment, you're going to be a little bit jittery, and you're going to be playing 10 to 12 BPM faster than you should be. Have you got that experience? Do you know all that real world stuff? So that's kind of where it's at for me, and I do wonder, and I do notice with students who are doing exams that they're moving on and beyond levels that they can really nail, and they're still passing, and in some cases getting excellence. So that is my hesitation with that one. I hope you found this video helpful and somewhat informative, even if I clashed with some of my own ideas there. Remember, you can hit me up in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more content, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao.